Plex, YouTube organization, and more. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by our Patreon patrons. Help support MacVoices and gain access to the MacVoices Slack and MacVoices After Dark at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is part 3 in a 3-part MacVoices live discussion. We've covered a number of different topics up to this point. This time, though, we continue with a discussion of Plex and its capabilities relating to podcasts, music, and a new search feature. And we also talk about YouTube organization, how you find what you want to watch on YouTube, and how you monitor and maintain what you want to watch on YouTube. Let's go back and let the panel do the talking.
I wish YouTube had better organization for subscriptions. That would be nice.
See, I wish they would have folders.
Yeah,
so I could just do a folder of just like MIDI work, folder of video, folder of Mac.
Yeah,
and then I can just keep it down because I have like
bicycle racing, trains, airplanes.
Yeah, I've got like 150 subscriptions.
Me too.
I know I only regularly watch about 7 of them.
Well, and that's exactly why I was asking about the Plex, because it would be great to say, okay, I want to watch David's channel, and I want to watch Jeff's channel, and I want to watch Andrew's channel, but I don't want to see Jim's channel, and I don't want to see Brittany's channel. Well, okay, I don't have to subscribe to theirs, but you subscribe to what you want.
There, now you've hurt Brittany's feelings.
No, she knows I would watch anything she produces, no question. Even Star Wars yoga.
Is that a thing? I'd watch that.
Star Wars yoga?
Yes.
Is that really a thing?
Yes. For some amount, yes.
How could that not be a thing?
Right. I mean, doing the downward Yoda, I mean, that really.
Excuse me, that is AT pose.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mix those up all the time.
Right.
Downward Yoda.
The downward Yoda just has created so many bad images.
I want a T-shirt that says
that's why it's AT pose.
Yeah.
You got to do a T-shirt of that.
I know a guy.
Do it.
You actually do.
That's right. Yeah.
Biblically.
Craig in the chat room says YouTube was down today. I did not know that because I didn't see that. But Barry asks if YouTube playlists function that way. Can YouTube playlists function that way? And I assume, Barry, you mean by that surfacing new episodes of new YouTube shows?
Well, you can create playlists within your YouTube account. That's probably what he's talking about.
Can you create playlists of accounts?
You mean of other people's accounts?
Of other people's accounts, yeah. Or
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never done that. But and even sometimes there's some accounts where I would like to have a subscription to only part of it. For example, Huntington Beach has a YouTube channel. There's a lot of junk on it. Like, I don't want to see all the city council meetings, but they have this really neat history of Huntington Beach. But I can't figure out any way to just get notified about that.
And
that would be nice.
The suggestions. I mean, over here, I have our live channel up, to make sure it's still working, and the videos it's suggesting for me, just to give you an idea of the differentiation. The Alice Cooper's tribute to Lemmy is right beside the Benny Hill Show, Terrible Moments in Television.
This seems totally reasonable to me.
Oh, it's a theme.
I got Cripple Creek with Tracy Newman and the string banjo. So
there you go.
I mean, Chuck, you haven't lived until you've listened to Alice Cooper's cover of Yakety Sax.
That's right.
Don't call
with the guillotine at the end in fast motion.
I somehow missed that one, Jeff. I don't know.
Now I actually really want to hear that.
I'm just looking. I mean, some of these make perfect sense for the things I've watched on YouTube, but others just are right off the wall.
Oh, it is an algorithm.
Well, you know what drives me nuts with their algorithm is if you watch one specific show or one channel 3 times within like 3 days.
You'll see
All of a sudden,
nothing
you're
but that.
bombarded with that
Yeah.
channel, and I never get back to the channel I wanted to see, and I never remembered. And I subscribed, but I didn't remember the name of that channel.
It's in your history. And
Well,
I have learned that every now and then go back through your history.
Oh, I
there's
do, but
stuff
I have
that's
150 channels,
And,
and it's like
No,
I have to go
no,
and
you're
look and go. Oh, I know
No,
that
no.
guy's face.
no, look at your history. Because you're saying
Where's
you
that
watched
at?
it.
On the Apple TV, where would I find that?
It's on the Apple TV or it's on the web or any place you have YouTube.
What, in the
it's-
left bar?
on the Apple TV, it's on the left.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
you go down to the bottom of the left, and your history is there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you get a list of everything you've ever watched, and because definitely I will start watching something, and then I get deterred, and then
Right.
detoured, and then forget about it. But so I will like go back in my history and like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch the rest of that.
You know what though, is I'd look at the history thing and I'd get sad. It's sort of like when you go on your iPhone and you see how much percentage of your phone's battery you use that day on YouTube
I don't
or
look
some
at that.
social app,
I turn that off.
that always
I-
bothers me.
Why would you look at something like that? And no,
I don't know.
I
The YouTube
that's
channel
really
showed
interesting
me
because I
that.
look at my YouTube history and I'm like, oh, look at all this cool stuff I've seen.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that Frank, you need to really sit back and think about the type of content you're watching.
No, well, it's weird. If you were to ask me, like, what kind of genre of film or what kind of genre of music I'm in no particular genre. Anything that catches me and tickles my head or my ear, you've got me. It could be something that I totally hate genre-wise, but if I find the idea interesting or that sound, it's like, I just found
So what's that got to do with
an
YouTube?
old classical piece called Adagio for Strings. I forget what war movie it was in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's only one classical piece called Adagio for strings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was Leonard Bernstein does the best version. But there is just one change from being a musician. There's one chord change in there that for some reason just draws me in. The rest of the song doesn't do anything in particular for me. But just to hear that one change in the way they do it,
So
I
are
will
you
go to it
complaining
forever.
That YouTube can't, and you can save things. You can set up lists, and
Oh, I've done that. Problem is, those get rather big, easy.
Well,
You can never see my desk. It's like my desk.
I don't think YouTube can solve that problem for you.
No, I don't think they can. I don't think Brittany could solve my problem with this desk.
If for After Dark, I've got a great thing that Google suggested to me that I want to tell you guys about.
I can't wait.
That YouTube suggested a new musical act for me, new to me.
This should be interesting.
This I
I don't
gotta
know,
hear.
Part of me says, and I the last time I brought this up on the show, I almost got stoned. But it might be just as easy to.
Not that kind, Andrew.
Oh, I was going to say.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no.
Chuck, you should have been stoned during the tornado. That would have been great.
Okay. Well, we know
Everybody
where Andrew's
must
head
get
is.
stoned.
Dude.
We know where Andrew's head is. No, but
Happy
just
day.
manage it by bookmarks.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Does anybody use?
Well, but
bookmarks?
you can't.
I mean-
If you're watching on your Apple TV, that's a little.
Well, that's true.
You also can
But,
utilize
I
the watch
will
later
do-
too.
I you can do watch later, but also sometimes I'll watch something on Apple TV, and then I'll be like, okay, I want to save that or reference it or something. So then later on my computer, I will go back and look at my history and find because the history is across all your devices. So you can watch something on the iPad or the Apple TV. Of course, on the iPad, it's easy to share it.
True.
But on the Apple TV, that's a little like sort of separate, but the history is shared. So, or sometimes I'll go back and it's kind of hard. You can like things on Apple TV, but it's a little fiddly. So sometimes I'll just like, I'll go back and like, yeah, I watched that on Apple TV and I want to like it.
It's too bad that you can't just talk to your Apple remote and say, "Hey, S lady, like this video."
Can you do that?
That would be cool.
I don't know, but please try it and report back.
That would be a great use of that 64 gigabyte hard drive.
Well, no, YouTube is the one that's, S Lady would have to tell the YouTube app. The YouTube app would have to be supporting that, which I'm going to guess it doesn't.
Right, but I'm saying they got that hard drive in
But I don't want it saved on that hard
Why
drive.
not
I
use
want it saved on Google's server.
What are you using the hard drive for?
Nothing.
Games, apps.
I don't know if they're using it for anything.
Yeah, I'm with Jim. I don't use it for very much of anything.
Well, no, there's nothing you can use it for. I think it just uses it for caching.
No, it stores apps.
Control.
Well, caching. It caches them.
Yeah, but how big are those apps? There's what? Megabytes at most, a few megabytes?
Probably. We don't know. We have no way of knowing. We'd have to
Life's
jailbreak
great
our.
mysteries.
We'd have to jailbreak our. Let's.
All right. I'll find you the link for the Apple TV app that shows you what your storage usage is.
Okay.
Is there one?
Yes.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised there's an API for that.
Yeah, I have the app on my Apple TV.
Oh, I definitely would.
I'll after we're done, I'll wander into the other room and
throw it in the Slack.
But this discussion really does highlight the idea that there's a long way to go for the interfaces and for our ability to curate things in some reasonably easy fashion. I mean, I'm sitting here listening. I'm thinking about all the great content that's out there, and there's a lot of junk, or there's content that to me is junk, but maybe to Frank is gold. So you need to be able to curate some of this stuff a lot easier. And I feel like, as much time as I can and do my best not to waste on YouTube, there would be a way to make it a lot more enjoyable and a lot more, quote unquote, productive if you could just do some of these things that we want to. But nobody.
Wasn't that some jobs that talked about years and years ago, a la carte?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Well, but that would be the ideal thing.
Yeah, but he was talking more, I think, about TV, the TV situation. But here, we're living in a world that Jobs never necessarily envisioned, with streaming content, podcasts, video podcasts, broadcast TV,
I don't know
streaming
if he'd be
services.
surprised.
I don't know if he'd be surprised, but I'm not sure that some of those things ever factored into his thinking. Because there's that famous quote about, they thought they had cracked, the TV thing. And, what if they thought they had, we've never seen it. And I don't know if the landscape just changed too much out from under them.
What do you mean? Ted Lasso.
Remember that film he did, was in the 80s? Or he was like sitting down and he opened up his folder and there was this assistant to tell him what he had to do that day and all that stuff. And it was basically an iPad.
Knowledge Navigator. That's what you're talking about.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And that was not a Jobs thing. He was not at the company.
Yeah, that was Scully.
No,
that was a Scully thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scully did something productive?
It was just a made up science fiction.
Yeah, it was a concept. It was an idea.
Yeah, and we continue to work toward it. I mean, think about. I know that you're going to throw stones again, Andrew. The stones, the hard kind, not the other kind.
But throw the other kind my way.
I think just forget about the stones, Chuck.
Yeah, I need something else. But anyway,
you find nothing.
Wow, the idea that we can do a lot more voice commands or control of our devices right now, and shortcuts are making it even better. So we're getting there. It's a lot slower than we want, but we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm not going to, but I can say to my phone, where is a certain movie playing in my area, and I'll get something back that's useful. Now it may not verbalize it. It may just pull it up on the screen, but hey, that's, that gets me the information I want.
Wasn't that his old line? He said once, we make stuff that you didn't know you needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we have stuff we need that nobody's making.
That we can't afford.
What else is new?
Yeah. Jim,
except web. Web can buy it for us.
We're never going to be finished.
No, that's true. That's true. You're right.
Yeah. Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by our Patreon sponsors. Support Mac Voices at any level and gain access to the Mac Voices Slack, where you can interact with the Mac Voices live crew, participate in our discussions, and get your questions answered. You also get access to Mac Voices After Dark, the uncensored, unscripted, and always enjoyable discussions before and after the Mac Voices live show. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices, and thanks for supporting Mac Voices. But Jim, you're the developer in this group. Get on some of this stuff. There's a fortune to be made here.
Fixing bugs.
Oh.
Yeah, hop to it, Jim. Don't let us down.
Yeah, that's right. We look up to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Go.
All right.
Actually, the way you're laid out on my screen, I look down to you. Well, there goes that. All right.
Oh man, that was very nicely done, Jim. That was very nicely done.
That was a good ad lib. That was good.
Oh.
You get points for that.
Well, guys, it's been a good discussion. I missed you guys. I missed you guys. I missed the chat room. This is always a great Tuesday night diversion, if you will. And I think we all learned a few things tonight, whether we wanted to or not.
No. I've never learned anything in my life.
We learned that Jim will hang up on us if we abuse him too much.
No, that wasn't it. I was hanging up to go program.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Let's go around the room and find out where you can find folks, these great folks, and then we'll give you the rest of your evening back. And I'm going to reverse it this time around. Brittany Smith, where can folks find you when you're not behind your fuzzy microphone?
When I'm not behind my fuzzy microphone, you can find me at conquer.consulting. On Twitter, I'm ADD Liberator, and also on YouTube.
Great. Thank you, Brittany. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Jim Ray, if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple seconds off your coding time to tell us where folks can find you.
Right. You can find the result of my coding time at provue.com, PROVUE.com. 35 years now for Panorama. Did you guys see that BB Edit 30 years old today?
Yeah, I did see that.
I didn't mention that.
Really?
30 years old?
Yeah.
BB Edit was 30, but Panorama's 4 years older than that.
I was going to say, I didn't realize you predated BB Edit. Wow. Congratulations.
Wow.
Well, really, it goes back even more than that because I started in 1984 on the Mac. August 1984 was the first I shipped on the Mac. So,
okay,
a couple more years, it'll be 40 years. What the hell am I doing?
Jeez.
We have no respect for you, Jim.
You got to get a job. You're running out of time.
I am unemployable.
I'm kind of bummed. I have BB Edit running basically all the time. And so I went and pulled up the About dialogue, and there's no Easter egg that pops up, like a birthday cake or anything.
Rich is no fun anymore.
Yeah, whatever happened to Rich? I mean, he used to be so much fun.
Well, he gave up the parrot. That was the beginning of the end.
What do you mean he gave up the parrot? Are you serious?
Didn't the parrot go to live with Dave Hamilton?
I did not. It's possible, but I sure
was
didn't
it
hear
that parrot?
I thought that was.
I thought he had a bunch of parrots.
Oh, maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Hector was just one of the parrots.
I can't imagine Rich without parrots, but I don't know.
I did not know there was more than one parrot. I thought it was just Hector.
Me too.
I'm not sure. So I've never been to Rich's house.
But you're a developer.
No, I'm not a developer. I have not been to Rich's house.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, tell you what. After you go to Rich's house and you're actually a developer, let us know.
We'll have to point Rich to this segment. And by the way, I am on Twitter, ProVGym, just to close the circle there, which is how
Jim.
I found out that BB Edit was 30 years old.
Yeah. This is the kind of quality content you tune in for, folks. Parrot Talk.
That's right. Parrot Hour.
Andrew Orr, thank you for being here. Where can we find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew or Not, where I tweet about kind of random stuff these days, I guess. But I've never plugged this before. You know, speaking of Apple not doing social well, there's still some kind of social element to Apple Music. And I'm under the same username on there, so look me up. I've been crafting a couple of playlists for the past couple of years. So check that out too if you're interested.
Cool. Definitely. Andrew, can you do a quick description of how folks go about doing that?
Good question. I'm going to do it right now live. So I think you can just go in the search tab and search for my name, Andrew or Not.
But how do you upload it? Because I know I got Don McAllister's and I was listening to it and it's like, well, that's cool. And I've got like 3 or 4 I curated to drive out to Macstock. And I was thinking maybe uploading one of those, but I was like, how do you do that?
If you go into your profile, there is some kind of toggle where you can set it to public as opposed to private.
Now, does that give them every playlist you have? Or?
Only the ones you share.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, I went and double checked because I thought, I should make sure I'm following you. Apparently, I've been following you on Apple Music for a while. So thank you for whatever music you are dumping into my stream. The way I'm using Apple Music for the Friends thing on my HomePod is I'll say, "Hey, S lady, play my Friends playlist," and it's just grabbing stuff from everyone I'm following, and it kind of refreshes it every week or so. And so I'm always listening to a very wonderfully varied collection of music.
Well, if you hear any crazy metal music, that's probably me.
Okay, well then I have.
Or Chuck.
You have made dinner with me more than once through your music.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'll make sure I'm following you, Andrew. But thank you. I'm glad you said something. Okay. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the co-hosting duties when I was gone. Really, really appreciate it. Where can folks find you? And hey, by the way, I do want to plug for you this week's Context Machine as we record this. I think I have like 3 minutes left, but it's very interesting debate between you and Brian on science fiction things. Very, very,
that one was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of really, really interesting. I feel bad though that you both are so dystopian about everything.
Yeah, well, maybe if the world had turned out better, we'd have a more positive outlook.
There you go.
Yeah, That thanks. That actually was a lot of fun to do that episode. And I have to say that while you were gone, I feel like I was more the moral support for Dave while he hosted the show. So he deserves more thanks than I do. And especially if you don't like it. But no, Dave did an amazing job, and I was the support crew, really. All right, so when I'm not sitting in front of my apparently 30-year-old copy of BB Edit writing, seriously, I could not get through the day without BB Edit, an Omni Outliner, and I could go on. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm JGamet on both. YouTube.com/JGamet for my videos here on Tuesday evenings, Thursday mornings-ish for the big show most Thursday evenings for In Touch with iOS, because Dave keeps letting me come back. And crazy. And most Friday, well, no, not most, pretty much every single Friday morning on the Mac Show with you and Dave. And
Wow.
And thanks for plugging the Context Machine. So Brian and I are recording a new episode tomorrow, and I can't wait for us to decide what it's going to be on. And I have to say, I'm really loving that when we teamed up to do the show, that we made the conscious decision to not limit ourselves to only Apple-related topics, because it's let us do stuff like have our sci-fi technology debate, the episode where we talked about being writers and getting published. And for me, that was a lot of fun, like one of my favorites so far. Anyhow, yeah, I get around. Google me. You can find me like all kinds of places.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
And it's great to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Frank Petrie, what's the best place for folks to connect with you?
Well, far away from tornadoes, that's for sure. You can get me on Twitter at fpetrie. Occasionally on Instagram, I show up at PHRANKY. You can see me on my blog, ympnow.com, and I do a monthly article for Screencasts Online. And on Tuesday nights, I come here because you haven't kicked me out yet or asked for my license.
Okay, well, that's
Crap,
then we
you
have
need
something.
a podcasting license?
Let's see your license, Frank.
Well, I was a podcaster back. Chuck, this was back in San Francisco, 2006. Ken Ray and I had a discussion about it because I was the one that got him to start Mac OS Ken. And I was doing a show at that point. I went 4 more years, and then I sort of lost interest and dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I remember that show.
That was a
Brittany,
weird.
don't worry about your
you on
license.
that?
I'll forge one for you.
Was that you? I did a cheap thing. I used to do the last 5 minutes of the show. I would get like Chris Breen. I think I got you maybe once. I'd get Don. I'd get all these people. And I say, okay, I want you to give me 5 minutes, but it can have nothing to do with computers. And I found the other day, Chris Breen did a 5-minute thing on how to build the perfect bologna sandwich, what time of day to eat it, what kind of bread it should be on, what kind of mustard you needed, and what view had to be out the window.
This is why I love Chris.
I'm hoping to do that show again.
Sounds like Chris.
Good. Do it. Hey, thanks for being here. We really
Thanks for
appreciate
having me. I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you. David Ginsburg, since you're being given all the credit for the shows in my absence, that means you get all the blame. But until I get a chance to watch them,
dodged that bullet.
Yeah. Where can folks find you, David?
You can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. Actually, Andrew Orr is going to be on the show this week. And you also can find me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/DaveG65 here on Tuesday nights, and on the Mac Show British Tech Network on Friday mornings, and Twitter, DaveG65. Thanks, Chuck. I'm glad you're back.
You saying MacVoices, all their dislikes are Dave's fault?
Well, I don't know. I'm waiting to find out. So
I wonder what that number is.
I'm not ready to cast stones just yet.
Who will
Folks,
cast the first stone?
Yeah, really. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. We do this every Tuesday night, whether I'm here or not, apparently. We do it every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are. We have a great bunch of people in the chat room. They've been throwing comments back and forth, some of which are relevant, some of which are not. But, you just never know what's going to pop up there, but we'd love to have you join us there. And, of course, if you can't join us for the live show, we do edit these and put them into the regular Mac Voices feed. They usually are delayed by a minimum of a week, but you still get the content. So even if you can't be here, you can enjoy it. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.